This is Paul. Paul was a voyageur. The voyageurs were workmen who performed the physical labor of the fur trade, including transporting beaver pelts and trade goods by canoe. Paul in particular liked to do backflips. They often traveled in groups of 10 or less by canoe. Their alternative was land, where they could sometimes hire guides to help them navigate unknown lands. They often carried hundreds of pounds on their backs at a jogging pace. Paul has now reached his destination,
the fur trading post,
where he will drop off all of his goods. Now say goodbye to Paul. This is the end of his journey. Now you might notice there's someone else in the fur trading post. That is Clark. Clark is a clerk. Clerks are like the checkout line workers. They help you put your stuff into bags and stuff. Now here we can see their richer managers called the fur traders. Now let's talk about some of the items. This is a steel striker. You strike it with flint and then it'll make some sparks and then hopefully a nice big fire. Next up we have the axe head, which anyone could put a log in and then boom, an axe. Next up is the blanket, also pretty self-descriptive. It's a cozy, nice blanket. And now here we have the knife, which is once again self-descriptive. Next up is the musket and lead musket balls. Hunters would take the gun and then load it up. They shoot it a little bit, and then once they're done with that, they drop it and go grab the deformed musket balls, put it into a metal casing, stick it over a fire, and then hopefully out would come out a nice bit of ammunition. Those are all the items I'm going to talk about, so now for the actual trading. The Native Americans would then come in and bring in their furs. All the furs had different values, such as beaver furs, which were worth 1, and then bear furs were worth 2. They would also trade food, which was worth less. Now the third thing they traded was services. One service is the guide, as you saw earlier, and now this little scene. Now here we have an interpreter because the clerk clearly couldn't speak Dakota. This interpreter here, however, could speak both languages and help them out. And now that, I believe, basically concludes what I wanted to talk about in the fur trade. The voyageurs were buff guys who carried packs across forests. The clerks were like checkout line workers, and the guides gave people directions. The fur traders owned trading posts with only the finest beaver hats money could buy, and the interpreters translated for people. That is a pretty fun project, so I guess goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.